From CJRDonald Trump image by maxpixel.freegreatpict. Permission details. DMCA. Donald Trump turned his Twitter ire on NBC and the NFL this past week. But beyond just criticizing them, Trump is threatening to punish the network and the league with the government's regulatory might. Trump tweeted on Wednesday that NBC's broadcasting license must be challenged and potentially revoked based on a series of NBC News stories that embarrassed him. He also suggested the NFL's tax status should be changed if the NFL continues to allow its players to peacefully protest police brutality by kneeling during the national anthem. ICYMI. The one media world mystery that remains unsolved around Weinstein's scandal. Many have commented on the First Amendment implications if Trump were to actually go after NBC's license, or really, the licenses of local affiliates, since NBC itself doesn't need a license, or the NFL's tax status. But Trump need not act on his threats for his actions to be considered a First Amendment violation. There's a compelling argument Trump is in violation of Constitution right now after he crossed the line from criticism of protected speech to openly threatening government action. There's plenty of case law on this subject, from the Supreme Court to appeals courts around the country. Most recently, in a case in the 7th Circuit called Backpage LLC vs. Thomas Dart, sheriff of Cook County, Illinois, just retired Judge Richard Posner articulated exactly why Trump may already be running afoul of the First Amendment merely through his threats. ICYMI. He was excited to profile a controversial athlete. What happens next? Every journalist's nightmare. In Backpage, Dart embarked on a one-man campaign to get Visa and MasterCard to cut off credit card donations to Backpage.com because of its adult section. Instead of prosecuting Backpage for any specific violation, he sent letters pressuring the credit card companies to cut off any payments to Backpage.com for any reason, since some of the Backpage ads, as Posner wrote, might be for illegal sex-related products or services. Posner, citing several decades of case law, made it clear that if the sheriff can't sue or prosecute Backpage for legitimate violations of law, he can't then turn around and use his power as a government official to make threatening statements in an attempt to censor them. In other ways, a public official who tries to shut down an avenue of expression of ideas and opinions through actual or threatened imposition of government power or sanction is violating the First Amendment. American Family Association, Inc. v. City County of San Francisco, 277 F3D 1114, 1125 9th Circle 2002. When Trump veers into actual threats of government action for speech he doesn't like, he is arguably crossing that same line that the 7th Circuit, and the Supreme Court before it, has condemned. As Vice President Mike Pence has already articulated, Trump does have his own First Amendment right to opine about things he likes and doesn't like, even in his caustic, insulting style. But as Posner made clear, as a government official, those rights are limited. A government entity, including therefore the Cook County Sheriff's Office, is entitled to say what it wants to say, but only within limits. It is not permitted to employ threats to squelch the free speech of private citizens. A government's ability to express itself is not without restriction. The Free Speech Clause itself may constrain the government's speech. Walker v. Texas Division, Sons of Confederate Veterans, Inc., Supra, 135 S. Court at 2246. See also Rosenberger v. Rector Visitors of the University of Virginia, Supra, 515 U.S. at 83,334. Trump is threatening NBC or the NFL not as a private citizen, but as the President of the United States, from his Twitter account, which the White House has previously acknowledged is a vessel for releasing official statements. Even if Trump does not have the sole power to carry out the proposed punishment of revoking licenses or changing tax statuses himself, a case may still be actionable. As the Second Circuit Court of Appeals noted in 2003, next page 12 http://pressfreedomfoundation.org. Trevor Timm is a co-founder and the executive director of the Freedom of the Press Foundation. He is a writer, activist, and lawyer who specializes in free speech and government transparency issues. He has contributed to the views expressed in this article are the sole responsibility of the author and do not necessarily reflect those of this website or its editors. Want to post your own comment on this article?